We've been wondering when the first AI company will be able to create edits better than humans. I talk with the first company to have achieved that. Today, on episode 21 of Real Estate Photography Unlocked.
I'm just trying to get mine, but these agents got me losing my mind. Whatever happened to the good times? Man, forget about it. It's showtime. Let me show you how to get some rest, how to make millions, how to be your best. This is shout out to the REPs, to the shooters, producers, and the newbies. Welcome to our podcast. I'm your rep MC. We're here every week talking real estate photography.
Hello, everyone. Today is going to be a pretty big podcast. I'm potentially interviewing the winner of the photography editing AI race in real estate photography. I'm going to be doing a deep dive into their software to see just how far it can go. But based off of all of my first impressions where I've run a few photos, this software is the fastest, the best editing, and the cheapest, easiest to use software that I have tried so far. And I want to be very, very clear. I am not affiliated with this or any AI software. So I have no skin in the game with declaring a winner of any kind. But there's been a few softwares out there that we won't mention, but this one seems to be the winner. We'll see for sure in a few more days when I do the deep dive. But for now, let's meet the creators. Welcome, Armin. How are you today? And welcome to Real Estate Photography Unlocked.
Thank you so much, Jonathan, for having me here. I am super excited to be here. As you shared, right, we believe Fotello is the best hidden secret in this space. And I'm super honored that I get this opportunity to bring this to the world with you on this podcast.
Yeah, and I have to apologize. You have been trying to contact me for weeks, and I have brushed you off again and again and again because I get all sorts of people reaching out to me. Originally, I just thought you were a standard outsourcer trying to get me to switch to do edits. Then I figured out you were another AI software. Probably had 20 or 30 AI software reach out to me. You really were passionate. You clearly believe in your work. And I tried it out this morning, actually, and was blown away. So I have been thinking about releasing a video on AI myself, talking about how it has a long way to go. You have shocked me and may very well be good enough or better for me to implement in my own business. And we're going to get into that.
Yes.
But anyway, if you wouldn't mind, just to give everybody a teaser, I'd like to share my screen real quick and compare very quickly so you guys can get a quick preview of what these images look like. Is that okay with you?
Yes, absolutely. Let's do this.
So here are some of the images we've run through. This is a look of Fotello. You can very easily browse your files, drag and drop them here. And these are projects I've already completed. I selected some challenging exterior images because this house was very dark in the front. And this is what they look like. You can actually run this. This is basic. This is without any additional adjustments happening inside the software. And comparing this to the images that I edited here, these are slightly, I would say, better than what I have because mine are still a little bit dark. I could have spent a little bit more time on them, but the AI software is slightly better than what I have done. And I actually edited those ones myself. And then let's go ahead and check out not just the exteriors, but the interiors. And one thing I have noticed about AI software that is a real challenge is they will try to remove color casting on walls. So here we are in this room here. Once again, I have made no adjustments. This is just with this standard edit. It's super sharp in regards to the lens distortion. The verticals are absolutely perfect. And the window pulls are great. The thing that really trips up AI editing software that I have seen is when you have these grayish walls, they really cannot seem to remove the color casting and get the color right. They usually just bleach these walls white. So I gave it a challenging edit here to see if they could tell the difference between the ceiling and the walls. They could do it. They did great window pulls, and they got the white window panes.
Yep.
And just comparing this once again to my edits, I'm going to bring up each of these images. So this is what my editor did, and you can tell that they're certainly comparable. This image, and I don't want to be too fair and easy on you, it's a little bit soft.
Mm-hmm.
But what I'm looking for with an editor or an AI is consistency, that I know, hey, it'll come out straight, it'll have good window pulls, and the color casting will be corrected. I think I've said in a previous video, that's what we need. We need straight, lens distortion fixed, we need verticals good, we need window pulls, and we need color casting fixed. That does all of it. I can easily sharpen this in post. So yes, this is certainly acceptable. And for example, if I wanted to add contrast, I could do that here. That removes the softness of it. And I can save that as a preset. So next time it edits it, we're good. And it even has some presets here that we could choose from. But I'm just introducing you to the potential here that we have in the software. That's all the dive I'm going to do for right now. And then I'm going to go ahead and do a deep dive in a separate video. But for now, since we have you, Armin, on the screen, I wanted to just dive into you, your company, what you guys are like. Are you out to take over the industry? One of the biggest concerns we have as photographers, if you guys are trying to replace us. So we're going to get into all those questions. Let me dive into those. But first, tell us who you are, how you got started, and why you're here in real estate photography.
Yes, absolutely. Happy to jump on the origin story and how did we get into this space. So my partner in the space, right, Ray, his best friend is a real estate photographer out in Edmonton, right? And he was visiting Ray over the summer and sharing about the problems that you just mentioned, right? About consistency, turnaround times, the communication lags. And Ray is an expert AI/ML engineer working at Amazon at that time. So he knew that with AI, right, this problem could be solved. And as life would have it, right, he started experimenting in building the initial model. Ray and I were neighbors, and we went to the gym together every single day, and we were just discussing this every single day. At that time, I was leading the product and technology team for a US services-based company out in Philly. And then every day, right, we were discussing ideas, and eventually, right, we built a first MVP, started cold calling photographers, trying to understand their needs, right, working with his friend, right, making sure the photos that we were creating through AI were the photos that he was proud of. And then that's how it all started. And our mission today is the same as what it was back then, which is how can we help our friend and other friends who now join us deliver photos that they are proud of every single time while saving them money. And that's what we started with, and that's what we do till today.
All right. Now, let's go ahead and dive in. Now that I've done a friendly introduction, you seem like a very friendly person. But I rarely judge someone based off of how well they act, because humans are very good at pretending. So I'm going to be harsh on you, like I am on everybody. And that's not because I'm a mean person. It's because we have to qualify and verify people we do business with, folks. You can't just do business on handshakes and hope things work out with the best. The only ship that doesn't sail is a partnership. You really got to double check the people you work with. So I'm going to be grilling you like I've grilled every other AI company. Yes. We're going to talk about your terms. We're going to talk about your business model. We're going to ask you who you're partnered with. We're going to talk about how you've developed the software and seeing whether you're just copying, pasting open source models that are out there, or if you've really developed something that's your own intellectual property here. We're going to go and discuss what you're planning to do with our images. What are your future goals in the industry? Are you trying to win the business from real estate agents and take over the industry? Are you anyway, we're going to get started with all of that. Are you ready?
Yes. So
Okay. First question I have for you is your terms and service. If you guys want to look at their terms and service, they do have it available at launch, which is something I recommend to people. Not all AI companies have had that at launch. So you guys are doing it correct. And it looks like it was updated way back in April. The number one question we have is rights and ownership and also sub-licensability to our images. The reason is, and a lot of people say, this isn't a big deal. You're just being a pain and being paranoid about this. It is more important than it ever has been in the history of intellectual property. Because as AI is continuing to develop, the creators of these images have the say in what can be done with their creative property.
Yes.
So you guys need to start standing up for yourself, or you are leaving yourself exposed to be taken over by AI. Now, what we're looking for as a concern is, first of all, you have your terms. The second thing we're looking for is sub-licensable and transferable license to use, reproduce, and distribute. This is something I have taken out of my terms, but we do have it in your terms. I'm just going to read it through here. By uploading, submitting, or transmitting any content to the service, user content, you grant us, that would be Fotello, a non-exclusive, worldwide, royalty-free, sub-licensable, and transferable license to use, reproduce, distribute, prepare derivative works of, display, and perform the user content in connection with the service and of our business operation, including for promoting and redistributing part of all the service. Would you be willing to edit that? Because I have spoken with my attorneys, and there doesn't seem to be any need in my software to include sub-licensable and transferable license to use. Can you share your thoughts on that?
Yes, absolutely. And thank you so much for being so diligent. Right? The first thing that I want to get right is, as you mentioned, right, our terms and conditions are live on our website, so everyone can see them. So that is important to us because we understand that how important that is to every real estate photographer and creators out there. Now, in terms of how we use your photos, so let me explain you how AI models get trained. So whenever an AI model gets trained, right, you need the raw photos, and then you need a human edited photo alongside with that, so that you can train the model. When anyone is working with us, they are providing their raw photos, but they're not providing their human edited photos because we are providing them an AI edited output based on that photo.
Okay.
So we cannot train the AI model based on our AI outputs because it's like teaching the model what it already knows. Right? So we're not using your, first of all, one thing I want to make sure it's very clear. We will never use the photos that you're sharing with us for training our AI models, unless, right, you're requesting a revision or a change on something on a photo and our human editors get involved.
Okay. And you do have an entire human division connected to this.
Yes, absolutely.
Which is really interesting because I'm not sure if I've seen that yet. That may have changed since I've talked to some other companies, but that's the first time I've heard of this. Okay. And now, in regards to the sub-licensable and transferable terminology,
yes,
would you be open to taking that out of your terms and conditions? Because if you did that, that would be putting your money where your mouth is and removing your right to transfer the rights to our images or the licenses to our images that we grant you.
Yes, absolutely. I think that terms and conditions definitely needs a little bit of more clarification. So we do need to add verbiage, right? That all your RAWs are always owned by you guys, and we'll never use them without your permission ever.
Okay, and then the important part is you don't sell or share with a third party.
Absolutely. We haven't done that ever till today, and we will absolutely never do that.
Okay, good. All right. That is great to hear. Now, that being said, I have also done podcasts and challenged people. For example, I remember one specifically where I said, why don't you have more transparent pricing? And he said, I'll change it today. it's months later and he still isn't doing it because he ain't gonna, right? So we will see. Look in the comments a few days later. We'll see if the terms change, and I'll pin it to see, hey, they may have reason. Here's the explanation, but that's the result of it. So we'll hold you to your word. We'll see what happens there.
Absolutely.
The next thing would be, let's discuss partnerships. So I have discovered or noticed a pattern in our industry. You'll have people who make a lot of money off of us as photographers, and they do that because they will get a small ownership of businesses and try to peddle off these products that aren't even that good, but they highly promote these products purely because they have a profit share in the product. And it's not because they have quality product that they're sharing. It's they have a profit share in that product. So it's really annoying when it's not just annoying. I would even say it's wrong when you're showing yourself as an educator or a representative of the industry looking to help people do better, and you're knowingly pushing and promoting a bad product to them because you make money to do that. So are you partnered with anyone, or is Fotello 100% owned by you and your partner?
Yeah, great question, right? And I wouldn't want to comment on like what others in the space are doing, right? Because that's the way that they've decided to grow. Our approach is a little bit different, right? We want to, as I said, right, we started building this product for a friend of ours, right?
Mhm.
From that, right, we called a few people and they were excited about what we were building, right? From that call, right, one of the cold calls that I did was with Brandon Cooper, because we are from Canada. And Brandon Cooper, the founder of PMRE, right? He's also Canadian. So that was a 30-minute call, and it ended up being a 3.5 hour. So Brandon was kind enough to get us to PMRE, right? And he's like, "Hey, you guys need to be at PMRE last year." So we made the trip to PMRE, and that was the time, right, that we saw our product versus others, and we left our jobs and we started on this full time. So even till today, right, Brandon's been a great mentor, but there is no part like equity structure or a partnership of any of this sort with either Brandon or any of the industry leaders out there. I'm very happy to share, right, the company today is bootstrapped, right? It's all of mine and Ray's personal savings that we've saved over the last few months that we've been putting into it, and it's just owned by the both of us right now. It's
Congratulations. I think that's the best business model. It's exactly how I built all my business models. It's just so much better. I like to see people like that.
Yeah.
If you go to see a good movie and you realize that it's done by someone like Quentin Tarantino, it's because Quentin Tarantino doesn't take advice from finance advisors or boards. Okay, he does what his creative vision says. So I really do think if someone knows what they're doing, it's best to let them do their thing. The only way you can do that is by not having other people's money in your business. Because once you accept other people's money, they have more or less a say-so in what you do. Good job on not taking money from these people, because I think you have built a good product here and you won't need it.
Yep. No, thank you so much for sharing that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, our goal is, right, we haven't built a massive real estate media business prior to this, right? We come with a chip on our shoulders, right? We're here to learn from everyone that we speak to, and that can be someone who is just starting out in the space, or our customers who are doing 1,000+ listings a month, right? So we listen and work with every single one. We try to understand their needs and build the product by listening to them, rather than by listening to, as you mentioned, right, other folks who might have their needs or their special interests in mind.
Yeah, it's more special interests, and that's a very, very neutral way to put it.
Yeah.
All right. So I'm sorry. I'm just very against corruption. I think, that, forgive me if I sound too harsh here, but I do think that capitalism is a great thing, but it can be hijacked. And people can get very greedy within capitalism to the point where, let's just take pharmaceuticals, for example. charging as much as you possibly can because you know someone's going to die if they don't pay it. That's not good, right? So anyway, let's cue it back. And you did say you're based out of Canada, correct?
That's right.
Okay, good. All right. The next, so we've covered partnerships, we've covered terms. Let's discuss how you've made this code and this software. So your partner, he worked at Amazon AI.
That's right. Yes, Amazon AWS, and he did a lot of ML, deep ML, and AI work back there. Right?
Okay, very impressive. Because if you guys aren't familiar with that sort of thing, I'm a non-technical founder myself. AWS is huge. Okay, AWS is like the Google of tech. I mean, everything you probably use, most of that is hosted on AWS servers and so forth. The fact that this guy worked there, isn't that one of the big five? Amazon.
It is, yes.
Yeah. So, and what are some of the big five? There's Facebook, Google, Apple, Amazon, and
Netflix. It's the fan company.
Right? Yeah, Netflix. Okay, good. So you have a very impressive coder on this. Is he a full stack developer or just AI specific?
So, right, we just got the next developer on team just about a month ago. But we've been very fortunate that every single line of code, right, on the product side, on the AI side, we have a very deep like an infrastructure layer at the back, right? Everything has been done by Ray. So I'm very fortunate to have met him and have started this company with him. And as you said, right, AWS is a product that's is being used by billions of users every single day. So he's seen the scale of it. I used to work at Angie's List. If you're familiar with Angie's List, right? So every time, right, where you anyone request a lawn mowing or electrician anywhere in the US, right? So it was my team that was responsible for making sure that they get a quote within 30 seconds. So both him and I, right, we worked at products where the scale, where we're impacting like billions, millions of people, if not billions, every single year.
Okay. Well, great. So just to clarify this specifically, the code and the models that you use, the not the language models, excuse me, the large, forgive me, I'm a little bit rusty on this because I was deep diving this on a few weeks ago, but image models, what do they call it? Creative models? There's a word for it.
They're image models. You're right. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. They're completely built by you. You did not copy and paste open source stuff. You guys originated this. And I believe that because I've looked at as much open source stuff as I can find. I haven't seen anything that does what you guys do at your level. Yes.
So a lot of these other models, right, open source models, what they produce is your old school HDR style look, right? And we all know, right, that deep in our hearts, right, we don't like that look, but that's just what's available. Our goal when we started this, right, was to use AI to give you the edits, that the premium quality edits, right? That's your hand blending style editing. So that if you go to the market to get these edits, right, you'd probably be paying $2.5 per photo, right? So that's where we believe is our differentiation. And we are not competing against like the old school HDR looks that are out there.
Right. And you've also managed, and I would like to pick your brain about this. You've also managed to do what seemed to be very difficult for all the software that I've seen. So some of them may be able to get like a three photo blend where the window pools look okay. Everything else is wrong. The color casting is really sloppy and dirty. The window pulls can be inconsistent to say the least. There's lots of hallucinations where you see trees coming out of places that shouldn't be there. You'll see floors and oranges and specifically, like I said, grayish walls that just get bleached. So here's the point we're trying to get to in my business, and every photographer, I believe, would agree with this. In the workflow of real estate photography, you go and you shoot, you come back, and we're trying to get the images from raw to deliverable. Okay, that's the point we've got to get to. In order to get deliverable, we need images that are vertical, that have window pulls, and removed color casting. That's all we need. Now, beyond that, real estate photographers may have their own individual touch.
Yes.
So far, we have been outsourcing our images overseas, and we get our images back. Some people don't add their own special touch. They just take their images and deliver it as is. So their image looks very generic. Some people will try to get the editor to learn exactly what that like. That almost never goes well. So when we get the images back from our current outsourcer, we have to do quality check, or we have to hire a virtual assistant to do the quality check for us, because the consistency of companies or even individual editors is not always reliable. In my case, I had a very, very fine interior editor, but for some reason, a lot of these overseas editors cannot edit both interiors and exteriors, even though exteriors are easier to edit than interiors. Your software does that great. But what's going to be big for me and a lot of the people that I teach and everything else is going to be that we are going to have an always consistent result. And we can also, in the software, create our own little recipe if we want to be a little bit darker, a little bit more contrasty, a little bit more bright and airy, darker, moody, if you guys like to use those words. And we can do this all completely in-house. And all of the examples I had run through your software, it processes it in 10 minutes or less.
Yep.
Is that accurate? Is that just my experience, or is that real?
Yeah. So you touched on a couple of things, right? Consistency, personal touch, and speed. Let me take that one by one. So for consistency, right? That is the biggest thing where we believe AI can be very different than what you get with the human editors or editors, overseas editors, right? So with AI, right, it's about like we spent days and like so many sleepless nights, right? Just a lot on like understanding the color theory, impact of the sunlight, impact of the artificial light on the wall, where the cast is where, deeply and scientifically understanding how can we bring out the actual colors that are present in the photo. And then how do we maintain them from one image to the next image, right? So, and the great thing about AI is that once we understand that, okay, this is how it's coming out, and then if there is some revision that needs to be made, right, we'll retrain the model on those revisions. And then the next time, right, it gets better and better. So the customers that have been with us, right, they have seen that without paying, actually with their cost reducing month over month, and the quality is just getting better and better over time. Right. So AI will be more and more consistent as time goes on. And we believe that today it's more consistent than any outsourced editor out there.
Yeah, I would agree that I've seen what I've seen so far. And frankly, we're not partnered, but you will definitely see some of my business coming your way in my Tried Real Estate Media, because I'm going to test this in my own business and possibly switch over. Because if I have something like this, this means we can come back from shooting in the day and deliver our images that afternoon, like effortlessly. And folks, some of you guys may be scared of AI. What I have wanted more than anything is to have my entire creative workflow back in-house. That's what I've wanted more than anything, because the more variables you add to your workflow, the more things that can go wrong. I can outsource my editing, and sometimes it's not consistent, and I lose business because it's not my fault. With this, I can deliver it out and have it back the next day. And here's the thing. It's going to help me get more business and beat the competition locally, but also it'll help me offer more things like, hey guys, we can do same day delivery now for a $50 charge, $100 charge, or we can just get it done and I can go to sleep at night without it hanging over my head, thinking about, okay, I got to get up at 7 a.m. in the morning, quality check, get all of these things delivered. Hopefully the editor is done in time and I can be back out at my first shoot at 8:30 and have everything delivered. That will help me lose sleep. Anyway, I'm excited about this because people have said, oh, yours is an AI editor, an AI hater. No, I have always wanted my entire creative workflow back in-house. And this is going to enable that.
Everything you're saying, and you were saying about like able to sleep at night, processing the photos in the morning, we are doing that for customers already. So we have customers tell us stories, right? That you've saved me so much time, and I can spend that time with my family, right? So would love, right, if we'd be able to do that for you. That'll be my honor.
Man, I'm looking forward to this. Okay, so we'll
I
test it. We'll deep dive on this. We've covered terms. We've covered a little bit of image rights. We've talked about your partnerships. Can you tell us a little bit when you were developing the software? How did you figure out color casting? That's a tough thing. Maybe that's proprietary, but how did you get it? Like, it seems like everyone else who can do AI can't do that.
Yeah. Again, right, it comes to the same thing, right? Spending, like thinking everything from an first principles mindset, right? From an engineering mindset. So I remember like me and Ray, right, just in our, when we didn't even have an office, right? We were just in the bedrooms trying to put like, to see how the color cast is through the natural light coming from the windows. If you put like an artificial light, like turning on that light, understanding how these lights are impacting which wall colors, then taking that learning, right, to understanding how this is translating to photos. And now, once we understand that how the cast is created on those photos, right, and then what is the expected outcome that we're trying to like create, right? How do we remove those casts? And then after that point, right, it's once you understand what natural light does to the photos, you understand what the expected results is, then you're able to build an AI model to train that from those learnings, right? But it's a deeply scientific process of understanding starting from how color casts are created in the first place.
Yeah, and just for the record, people asked me after I started doing reviews for AI software, Jonathan, are you going to start your own AI software? I never had a big desire to do it because I knew that eventually someone will crack it, but it will take someone who really is good at AI. But I love the fact that you guys have also seen what photographers want on our side, because if you guys go to fotello.co, not .com, fotello.co, then you will see how easy it is to upload the images and get the work done, because I have also tried other software where I couldn't even get it to work. So this is easy to use. It gives us kind of an unsalted, unspiced version of the edits. And guys, what I'm looking for personally as a photographer who does a lot of volume, I don't want the editor to do the final touches for me. I want it to do the time-consuming tasks for me.
Yep.
Fixing color casts and doing the hand-blended window pulls are the biggest time suck. And then the correcting of the verticals is a nice touch. But then all I have to do is import these back into Lightroom if I want, or I can just use your in-program edits and make this simple adjustments. Now, I'm spending less time making my simple adjustments than I would quality checking a real human editor.
Yes,
exactly. So
exactly.
you guys have reached the threshold that the AI needs to make. Congratulations on being the first man on the moon. You are America that won the space race. Let's talk a little bit about ethics here.
Yes. I did want to talk about the speed that you mentioned, right? You mentioned that everything was done within 10 minutes. So yeah, you're absolutely right. From upload to the final result, right, will be 10 minutes. But we don't control the upload speed because that'll depend on your internet speed. But from our testing, right, our uploads is faster than Dropbox, right? So you will get faster upload speed than Dropbox. But once the photos are uploaded, we will be able to edit the entire house, regardless of number of photos within the house, either be it 5 photos, 50 or 500. We'll edit everything within 2 minutes.
Okay.
And
now,
the beauty about players that are doing large volumes, you don't have to wait until one house is being done. You can create a new listing in the same tab, and then you can keep doing multiple houses. So we have people who are processing about like hundreds of houses within an hour, and they're done.
I can't wait for this. The next question I have for you is ethics. Okay. Yes. So a lot of people will talk about, oh my gosh, AI is going to make all those poor third world photo editors who are working in India, Philippines, and everything else, although these countries aren't third world, folks. All of these people are going to go out of jobs and just starve. This is horrible what you're doing. Shame on you. Admittedly, you sound like you may be an immigrant yourself to Canada. Where are you originally from?
Yep. Thank you for sharing that. Right. I'm originally from India. I came to Canada about 12 years ago. Same as my partner as well. He's also from India. He came about 6 years ago. So we're both immigrants. We understand, right? Not this industry has not been has been built by editors, right? And we want to not take this industry away from them, but figure out a way how we can work with them. So that's why, right, as you mentioned, we're the only company in the space that has a model where you get the best AI photo editor for real estate, plus you get the best human editors who are trained for real estate. And we employ them in-house and pay them higher salary than what they would be making even doing freelancing or anything on their own as well. So yeah, that's the model. And it's very important for us that we do this.
Okay, and I can speak to this a little bit in depth about ethics because people really like to keep things surface level. I go deep. Okay, so let's talk about numbers here because this is something that is horribly misunderstood in the real estate photography industry. And I see it get really ugly in the Facebook groups. Anytime someone asks, hey, I'm looking for an editor I want to work directly with, and I want to pay them what some people would consider a low amount, like 40 cents, 50 cents an image. And I see people here on the West who don't understand currency exchange, who don't understand Indian rupees or Filipino pesos. They have no idea what that is or how it converts or what a living wage is for someone in India. Now, I have actually gone deep dive in seeing what the living wage for a family of four is in India and the Philippines. And I have also gone the next step of actually contacting editors in these countries and interviewing them myself. And I've even published these in other podcasts. So check that out in previous episodes. If you guys don't know this, when you guys work with a company for $1 an image, what happens is the company takes the dollar per image, pockets it, and then pays their employee $300 to $400 a month, $300 to $400 USD, right? So they may get actually paid for doing 300 edits, which may be 1 or 2 days of work. The rest of the profits go right into the company's pocket. By paying more for your images, you are not helping out the end editor. You were just helping out some corporate person in these outsourced images. And how I have always taught this is you need to work directly with a person and pay them less, 40 or 50 cents an image, and you could be paying them $1,000, $1,500 a month, and they'll be earning 3 to 4 times more working with you at 40 cents an image than they would working with a company in their country. Anyway, sorry to go on that quick overview.
And I love that you've done this, right? Not a lot of people know a lot, have gone this deep and understanding, right, what's the money that's actually going to the end editor versus the service-based companies.
What is the ethic? Is it better to work with a company? Is it better to pay someone, a low per image, but work with someone directly? Like, what is the more ethical model there?
Yeah. And this is a very important question, right? I think, the better model will definitely be, right, working directly with someone, right? Now, even if you're working with a company, right, cost is one part. The issue is that company will have one editor at one point, another editor at another point, and you wouldn't get that consistency. If you're working with a one person directly, right, through platforms that are everyone's aware of, right, you can make sure that the money is going directly to them, right, and they are using that money for their families and stuff. I'll tell you a story about the editors that we have. So we have editors in house, and he's a guy who's only studied till eighth class, right? He worked at construction, like as a construction worker, right? Ended up in Bombay, it's the largest city in India. Somehow, right, like found out that to upskill, right, that there's a training course for editing. Got enrolled in that editing, started working at like this large company, as you were saying, right, where they have like 300, 500 editors, right, working night shifts, but barely getting anything paid. COVID happened, and you know what? He's moved all his life, done everything, barely getting paid, doing night shifts, and they like fired him without any notice. Now this person went onto those platforms, right, Fiverr and others, right, created a profile for himself, and was earning more than $2,000 a month, right, which is amazing salary, and living at his home. Now we were able to recruit him because he's one of the best on Fiverr and bring him in house. And now we are paying him higher than what he was making directly with Fiverr. So that's the story that I want to share in terms of the value that we are bringing to them. Plus, but the more important part is the value that these editors are giving to Fotello. So we don't come from this space. So we not only learn from photographers like yourself, we learn from domain experts like our editor, right, Vinay? And the insights that you can get speaking with that person who is not even completed high school is probably more than insights that I've been able to get after spending so much time in the roles that I did with previous students. So, yeah, right, like IQ, like intelligent people are everywhere, right? It's just opportunity is not spread widely. And whatever we can do as humans to spread that opportunity as widely as we can, we should do our part in that.
Okay. So it really does seem like if you are going out and trying to create opportunity by hiring one of these people, whether at Fotello yourself, or if you're a photographer out there trying to find one of these guys and paying them 40 or 50 cents an image, that is actually more ethical, not less, because you're actually helping someone directly build a long-term life with a better income that they can work with at home. They answer directly to you. And there's nothing but, when you guys are talking about AI here, we'll switch the conversation a little bit.
Yeah.
Do you see, I'm actually seeing the possibility that as AI continues to develop, it's certainly going to make photographers' job easier. I don't see it doing enough to replace us. It could disrupt the editing industry, or it could just make the editor's job a whole lot easier. Because I could see Fotello being a real staple in the editing industry in India, in the Philippines, where people process the images and then quality check them and send them back to a photographer.
Yeah. Our take is that AI will be a change. Where we'll help is recruit these people, upskill them on our tool. So think of it like building like a new Adobe, right? And Adobe is a company that we always, at least we respect deeply about what they've done, right? And we want to be that new tool that we're helping, training every real estate editor on how to use Fotello, the adjustments they can make, so that everyone can keep getting the personalized touch that they want. As you mentioned, right? That was a great insight. While also getting the speed and consistency and everything that AI has to offer.
Okay, man, this is so. Your terms and conditions are solid. It seems like your motivation is in the right place. You don't want to necessarily steal our rights and sell them to anybody, and you're willing to put that in writing.
Yes.
We'll see if you do. Number two, you've got great original code that you have written. Your ethics are on point, and you're even employing overseas editors in your business too. Even though you have a great AI product, you still want to have that human backup if you want it. Let's talk about price.
Let's do it.
Okay, let's talk about price. So I'm looking at your website. If you guys want to go to look up the pricing as you're listening to the podcast now, you can go to fotello.co, not .com, /pricing, and it has all of, thank you for this. your pricing transparent and easy to see. So it looks like you have a scalable price. Now I pay about currently with my human editor about 40 cents an image. We will deliver on average 30 to 40 images per shoot. So 40 images times 0.40 cents would be about $16 that I'm currently paying per shoot for my editors. I do from about 75 to 100 shoots per month. So you guys have a scale here where you can go to 10, 25, 50, 70, 100, and so forth. At 75, I would be at $12 per listing. So it would be less than what I currently have. That would be 30 cents per image.
Yes, yes, it should be 30% than what you're currently paying. And you're pretty great.
Okay. Now, I can be honest with you. AI really tends to slash prices, and a lot of them end up being close to free. I would have hoped that the prices would have been less. That being said, you guys do seem to be the cheapest out there. Let me check one thing on that real quick. Apologies. Feel free to talk while I double check this.
And let me share a little bit about our pricing, because I feel it's important to know, and it's different than what others are doing. So again, right, going back to our mission is to help you deliver great photos while saving you money. Now, to deliver great work, right, we believe the per photo pricing model, it has wrong incentives baked within it. So let's say a house, right, might need a couple of more shots, but you wouldn't click that shots because your bottom line will go higher. So as an AI company, right, we want to build a model that completely eliminates that concept. We want you guys to click as many photos as you think the house makes the house more sellable in the market, right? And then not have to worry about the variable costs. So we're the only company in this space that introduced a cost per listing model. Now, it's not based on any credits, because again, right, if you introduce credits, then companies can, it's a new currency that you're inventing, and companies can just use that currency however they want.
They use it usually to disguise the true cost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Whereas with us, right, now this is a fixed cost that you can take into your pricing and then charge your customers accordingly and never have to worry about this cost again.
Okay.
So that's the genesis of this model. Now, of course, this pricing, right, there's two factors in how the cost per listing is decided. The first is payment schedule. If you pay on an yearly basis, you get a 20% discount. If you pay on a monthly basis, it's a little bit more expensive. The second factor is, as your volume grows, your cost per listing drops. So currently, right, where you are, but let me just share my screen while I do this.
Okay. And I will add your screen to the stage here. Okay.
Thank you so much for doing that. And yeah, currently, right, at 75 listings, your cost per listing will just be $12. So, and
it's important to clarify, just to make sure I'm not being, this is for if you pay up front for a year. Is that correct?
That is right. Yes.
Okay.
And on a monthly basis, right, it's $1,200, right? So it'll still be $600 cheaper than probably what you're currently paying. And a couple of things that you get with every single paid plan that I want to walk over is you get unlimited human revision, right? So that's baked into the pricing. There is no extra charge, no restrictions on what you can request. So I know editing companies, right, they charge you $2 for this kind of edit, $5 for this kind of edit. With us, there is no restrictions. And our turnaround time for the human revision is 6 hours. So it's faster than any editor that you probably work with.
Yes, it's definitely faster than any editor. That's for absolutely sure. Yeah. All right. If we're doing this monthly, you guys can look at that versus yearly. The point is, you go to fotello.co/pricing. You check it out for yourself. A few things to look at here. I will warn you that photographers love to complain and whine and get very upset over very small, minute issues, or just because they prefer thing another way and that's not the way you did it. A lot of people are not going to like the fact that you have, is this a monthly subscription here?
Yes. So it's definitely a monthly plan that you sign up with. But with the monthly plan, right, you can go up and down as you want. Or the most important thing is that let's say you sign up with a 75 listing plan. And I'm sure if you're like most customers, you'll end up doing 100. But for whatever scenario, right, you end up doing 65. So the 10 that are unused will roll over to the next month. So that there's no wastage. So there's a listing rollover for the entire year so that you can account for all seasonality.
And that also helps out during busy season and slow season and the differences in there. Okay.
Exactly.
So guys, hate it or love it, sometimes business models just have to have monthly models of some kind. This is similar to what I've seen elsewhere where it does roll over. I haven't seen a different model that is any better. There's just variables that you have to account for. Sometimes you have to have a subscription. If you don't use AI, you're going to be paying your editor monthly anyway. That is based off of per use. That being said, Real Estate Media Hero, our scheduling software, we have it based off of per use. And I get emails with people who are furious because they just want a subscription. So if these people were to have a per use model that was strictly per use, they'd have haters in the comments giving them death threats. They have a subscription model and they're probably going to have haters in the comments. That's the way they've chosen to do business. Hate it or love it. That's the way it is.
Yeah.
So
I understand, right? It's a new way of doing things. So that's why anyone, when they work with us, right, they get a full 7-day refund policy. So if there's anything that you don't like in the product, right, no matter how many listings you've done with us, no matter how many revisions you've done with us, we'll always give you the money back if there's anything you don't like.
And while we're at it, can you give us a quick overview? And maybe we should have done this first, but I really wanted to dig into the important topics. Let's talk about the features, because I very briefly showed comparisons of your AI model to our in-house edits. Could you give us a quick overview of all the features? And I'm talking quick, like, hey, it does this. This is how you upload an image. Don't forget that this is where you submit it to an editor. Here are your presets, that sort of thing, just so people can understand.
Yes, let's do this. I'm excited. Okay. Perfect. Let me do that. Let me start sharing my screen.
Perfect. I'm going to add you to it, and I'm going to completely give this a full screen here and take us out of it completely.
Sounds great. So I want to start with what you get at the end, right? So this is a full deliverable link that you get that your customers can download the photo, request revision directly from here, and do anything. Now, let me walk you through how we got here. So you land on the listing page, right? You can store your RAWs with us. No need to spend more money on Google Drive.
First of all, how do we create an account? Sorry. And do we have to go through a sales process, or can we just join for free and try it?
Absolutely. So let's start from Fotello, right? It's absolutely free to start. With a free account, you get 5 free listings with 5 photos to try. Once you've logged in to the account, you will see all the listings that you've done with us. So today, right, you're probably spending money on Google Drive and Dropbox storing these RAWs. With us, you can save that money as well.
Okay.
Then you create a new listing. Creating a new listing is very straightforward. You drag and drop all your raw photos, and then you will see that as soon as the photos are uploaded, they're auto-bracketed based on timestamp of 2 seconds. So if you are someone who's a fast shooter, slow shooter, you can move it. You can change the count based. If you are doing flambient, we're the only company in this space that can support flambient shooters.
And that was a big question I saw. There was people wondering if you guys do flambient. All right.
So we can do flambient. All you need to do is adjust the bracketing as you want. There's full flexibility in that. Mm-hmm. And then name the listing. You can now, right, like there are so many days, right, where you have got a beautiful sky and you might not want to replace it. So with a single click, you can choose to turn on or off sky replacement. And by default, we give you 3 styles to choose from. Our default style is signature, which is the premium hand blended style, not your old school HDR look. The second style is natural. If you're someone who prefers photos to look a lot more closer to your raws and less edited. And then thirdly, right, we also, for any shoots that are done during twilight, you can choose the twilight style.
And I will hop in here. The photos that you saw at the beginning, I used the natural preset. And I really like the way those looked. I just thought that it wouldn't be quite so sharp. I do prefer them to be a little bit sharp, which may explain why some of the images were a little bit soft. Anyway, continue.
No. Yeah, you once you see signature, right? Yeah, you will be blown away in how that turns out to be.
Okay. Quick thing. It's too late to go back to that, but I'll just say one thing as a user. I noticed that when you are, if you want to re-upload it, and this is something for you guys to just check. When I click enhance listing, it'll come up with a notification. Can you click enhance listing real quick?
Yep.
It'll give a notification. In order for this to go away, what I had to do was just make sure I selected a selection. Go ahead and exit out. On the right side there, you just have to make sure everything is selected. But anyway, I thought there was an error. There wasn't. You just have to make sure you've selected something.
Yes. Okay. You just want to make sure you select the exterior shots because exterior editing is different than interior editing, right? So two different AI models, you make sure your bracketing is correct. And once you're done, then there will be, you can just proceed.
I cannot tell you how happy it makes me to hear you say that you understand that the difference between exteriors and interiors exists.
Yeah.
As a photographer and an editor, it is so encouraging to hear to know that you know that. Thank you. And I imagine the coding is done the same way.
Yes, absolutely, right. And our exteriors, right, most of the exterior editing today, right, it's usually the presets, right? You're just getting the exterior photos, applying a preset, to doing the sky replacement, and that's done. Whereas in our case, we're hand blending your exteriors as well. We're making sure, and I'll just walk you through how that's done. So you will see the photos. So in this slide, we'll make sure the clouds are new every single time, right? The house is bright and well lit. We make sure that exterior editing is different.
If you could go back to that as well.
Yes.
You have some styles that you can choose between. Isn't this something you just added?
Yes. We just went live with this today. And that's one thing that you'll see with us, right? Every single day or every other day, right? There are new and new features that we're working on. So we work very closely with our customers, understand what they need, and then we ship the features every few days.
And another thing I do love about that editing page is that you haven't overdone it. The number one thing I have seen is that a lot of software developers will get a little bit code happy, and they'll start just adding features, and you get what's called feature bloat. And it makes it so you can't use the software because it does so much, or it actually does a lot of things poorly and none of them well. But this is very simple. It gets the main image very correct, where you don't really need to change anything. But if you wanted to, you can make some basic adjustments and be done with it. So you really seem to understand the photographer workflow well.
Yeah. And this, right? Like you mentioned, the personal touch piece. So that was the insight that you shared. We understand that today, right? When you're receiving photos from your editors, right? You're putting them in Lightroom, making fine adjustments, and then shipping it to your customers. And we want to make it as smooth as possible. So you don't have to download them. You can make those adjustments right on the platform. And you will see on the screen, as I'm doing it, it's instant. So it's on the web, it's instant. And there are a couple of styles that you can choose from. So yeah, all the options are directly here.
I'm really amazed at this. When did you start developing this? Like, how long did it take you to get here?
Yeah, so now it's been about 9 months, I would say.
Very, very impressive. Very impressive. I'm shocked that when you announced this at PMRE, it didn't take over.
Yeah, it did. It's about the values, right? We work. So even today, right, you can sign up for free But to become a paid user, right, you have to go through a sales process. And that's because our values are very simple. We want to make sure that every single person that becomes our member, we're fully able to deliver the value for their business, rather than just opening up the platform for the entire world, letting them use and not being it reliable, right? We want to work with everyone and making them successful.
I think it also may in this case, because so what I have seen, the reason some people have a sales process like that is because they're hiding the pricing and they want to get you into a high intensity sales situation in order to pitch the price and then badger you into closing with them. You are transparent with your pricing, which is the most important part. I imagine the sales process, because a lot of people are not as computer literate as we wish, and you guys can kind of introduce the software and how it works on a one-on-one environment so that you completely understand how it works and have a smoother customer service process. I have noticed that myself. I'm doing a lot more onboarding one-on-one myself, just because I'm starting to realize people don't necessarily know how to use the stuff we've built.
Yeah, it's really not about technology for us, right?
Mhm.
Really about understanding and you're right. And that's exactly the we understood, right? That we want to understand, work with each customer, right? And this gives us a chance to learn about them, understand them, right? Build the product with them, rather than just opening the platform and then everyone starts and we don't get any feedback. We're not learning anything from them. So
Right.
this helps us learn, and this hopefully helps them a better onboarding experience as well. You'll see on the Fotello side, right? This number directly calls is you can use this number to directly call me. So it's either me or my partner. We were working 24/7, so you can call us anytime, and both of us that either of us that'll pick up.
Yeah, and I'll speak to that as well. A lot of people will sometimes criticize Real Estate Media Hero because we don't have a sales team or customer service team. I built the software on our side so that you don't need too much customer service, and the amount of people who have issues are small enough that I can handle them myself. So I keep prices low by answering all your questions myself, and I learn more about what you guys need better.
Yeah.
And you guys are following the same business ethic. I am so encouraged to see this. I thought I was alone in the world. My goodness, man, I cannot tell you. The deeper I go into this, I'm expecting to find something I don't like. The deeper I go into it, the more I like it.
Yeah, I'm excited.
All right. What else do you got for me, Harman?
Perfect. So yeah, you can make those adjustments. You can choose your styles here. And most importantly, right, if there's anything that your customer might need, you can request a revision directly here. That's what we covered earlier. So it's
Okay.
directly on this panel.
And quick reminder, how long does that take?
It's just 6 hours. So it's faster than any editing company on the planet. And our goal is to bring it to 2 hours by the end of the year. So as you said, right, we're hiring editors all across the globe.
And that goes to a real editor. Just out of curiosity, would it be possible for you to have a prompt where we could try an AI fix where we say, hey, remove camera, and it does that?
Absolutely, right. Over time, we'll have more and more features here, right? So you can like remove stuff, you can add stuff, right? But while we're developing those features, right? And what feature to prioritize? Human revision is a great way to understand that, prioritize that, and then add it.
And then, of course, guys, it is important to know how to edit yourselves. Worst case scenario, they have done 99% of the image editing. If you just need a quick fix, you can always just download it and do a quick touch in Photoshop or something and be done. All right. Any other things we need to go over in regards to the software itself?
Yeah. So no, I mean, ultimately, right, you can just download the photos. We already saw the share feature, and that's about it.
Man, I can't believe it. Honestly, it seems too good to be true. All the things that are important to me, the main thing are image rights. You're willing to keep those safe. You are not partnered with any corporations or individuals that seem to have our interests how would I say this? Where they're not looking to sell us out and our information. We've just been burned in the past by corporations. We don't want that to happen again. Folks, I'm going to do a deep dive into this software. I'm going to see if it's consistent as they say. And if it is, you're going to earn my business as a real estate photographer. And you will, in my opinion, change the industry. I do think you guys are the first to arrive on the moon here in this great space race of real estate photography, AI editing. So congratulations. I'm not sure if I'm qualified necessarily. We don't have a designated king of real estate photography, but I know what I'm doing, and it does seem you guys far surpass the threshold of what we need to deliver photos. And I don't see that anyone else has done that yet. So congratulations.
Thank you.
Harmon and your partner. What was your partner's name?
Yeah, Ray. It's all the team, right? All the leaders that we work with, Vinay and everyone.
Okay. And so if you guys are seeming like, wow, how come you're being so nice to Harmon here? You're usually really harsh on people. So my wife and I agreed before we got married, when we were dating, that we would never lie to each other. Okay. This includes giving each other fake compliments. That means when you do look nice and your spouse tells you, wow, you look really good today, you know they mean it. Because once you start lying, even in small ways, you can't believe even the good things they say. So I'm not a harsh person. I'm just holding people accountable and waiting to give compliments to the people who deserve it. And Harmon, you have a great product here that you should be proud of, and I wish you the absolute greatest success. I hope that it continues to be as good as it is now, because things can change over time. So if you're coming back to watch this video and something bad has happened with Fotello, which I would hope not, just check with me to see if I still kind of endorse them. But you have my endorsement, man. This is incredible. We're not business partners in any way. I am just a neutral party who likes to give my critique on things for the betterment of the industry. If you guys want to try out AI editing, Fotello is the one you should try. These guys understand it, they get it, and once again, not sponsored with you in any way, but I may want to talk to you about that. So, because I do want to work with people who deserve and are putting in the same type of ethic and quality that I put into my products as well. So congratulations, Harmon. I really can't tell you how excited I am for this, purely because I see my day-to-day life getting so much better with this product.
Yeah. No, thank you so much. And coming from you, Jonathan, like it's an honor that I'm hearing that. And I'm excited to be one day, right, like very soon, serving you and serving many of the audience that you have. And my goal and Ray's goal and all of our team's goal will always be, right, that product will always keep getting better and better, but the values that we have today, right, we maintain those values as time goes on. You've called us the winner. We don't believe that yet. We have long paths to go. We're working really hard, but we'll do everything in our power to earn that right every single day.
Yeah, well, hell, as long as you stay true to your beliefs, you don't partner with nefarious individuals who or corporations that will compromise your relationship with us, the photographers. Yeah. And a lot of those people as well, they'll try to get involved with the promise of improving your marketing, and they only damage it. They really do. Just be yourself. You seem like a very approachable person that most photographers will want to work with. I cannot, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. Yeah. Just time will work itself out here. So congratulations. I can't wait to get started. I'm going to start editing some projects with you guys today and see if I can deliver them. I haven't been this excited about a product since Canon came out with their first mirrorless full frame camera, which was a few years ago. So thank you, man. Thank you.
Thank you for having me here and helping us share the story.
Yeah, and quick message to anyone else out there. I apologize to you for taking so long to take you seriously. But if you guys also have your own products that you'd like to be interviewed here, I can hold you accountable to things if you aren't on the up and up. And I can, really promote you and give you my endorsement if you deserve it. So I hope that I don't scare too many people off. I just like to call balls and strikes, and you guys hit a home run here.
Yeah.
So well done, and thank you very much. If you guys want to follow Fotello or reach out to Harmon, the best way to do that will just be on the fotello.co website. Is that correct?
That's right. Yes.
Okay. And if you guys want to follow me, of course, just check out my Instagram. I'll have it in the description. And of course, believe it or not, I have a pretty good scheduling software, Real Estate Media Hero. And if you guys want to learn how to do real estate photography, I've got a pretty good, very affordable course there too. And I also mentor people one-on-one. So follow all the links in the description. But thank you, Harmon. I'm really impressed.
Thank you.